Chapter 5. The Hindus. India law changed polygamy to monogamy. Hinduism is the professed religion of over two-thirds of the people in India. It embraces the philosophies and moral teachings of sacred works in the Vedas, four ancient sacred books of Hinduism, consisting of psalms, chants, sacred formulas, etc., and contains some of the most beautiful and uplifting thoughts embraced by any religion. Map of India. Webster defines Hinduism as the religion and social system of the Hindus, developed from Brahmanism with elements from Buddhism, Jainism, etc., added. Webster's New World Ic. 1984, page 664. The history of this religion is difficult to trace, even the authors of most of its sacred writings are unknown. Their teachings have attracted students of religion from all over the world and have had more impact on Christianity than Christianity has had on them. The morality of their teachings is of the highest standard, and their devotees are very dedicated. Interestingly, their faith and culture include the practice of plural marriage. Plural marriages in India have been a part of their culture for thousands of years. However, that custom was changed about 40 years ago, providing an excellent opportunity to study the positive and negative effects of both monogamy and polygamy in the same culture with the same people. The right to live plural marriage in India has been replaced by a law enforcing monogamy not by the will of the people, but by the government. In 1955, the Parliament of India established the Hindu Marriage Act, which abolished plural marriages in that country. A study was made in which it was discovered that there was a ratio of 5 brides for every 4 bridegrooms. Recognizing this problem, a Hindu by the name of Atul Krishna Kundu wrote an appeal for a revision of the statutes to reinstate plural marriage. The imposition of the rule of monogamy by means of Hindu Marriage Act 1955 on Hindus of India added fuel to the fire of various socio-economic problems of the Hindu community, because this imposition of the rule of monogamy on Hindus of India against Hindu religion, the very religion by which they are identified, is not at all a true representation of the will of the community. Polygamy and the Hindu, Kundu, p. 8. Et al. Then followed with comments and a chart showing the general trend of surplus women in the country. But actually the brides have been much more in excess compared to bridegrooms, for the reasons arising out of the fundamental difference between a man and a woman already mentioned earlier. That is why practically we see that if a bridegroom 40 years old wants to marry a bride 20 years younger than him, he can definitely have a bride as his wife, because those brides due to poverty for the purpose of solving their problem of feeding, clothing, and lodging, even prefer to be a co-wife to prostitution. Bureau of Corrective Administration under Home Ministry is not at all sufficient to correct and prevent the poor and unfortunate women from being prostitutes or so, depriving them of their natural desire to become mothers of legitimate children. In fact, the percentage of bridegrooms and brides of Hindu Bengali community according to those registered in Tathikendra, Calcutta, the Organization for Marriage Contacts, are as follows. Percentage of bridegrooms brides excess brides. December 1971 36%, 64%, 78%. December 1972 39, 61, 57. December 1973 41, 59, 44. December 1974 39, 61, 57. December 1975 39, 61, 57. December 1976 41, 59, 44. According to the method of sampling, the above data can be taken as the reflection of the middle class of the people, or any class of people, of Hindu Bengali community of India, where the social environment is different from that of Western countries. It seems that due to lack of scientific understanding of the society we live in, monogamy was imposed on the Hindu community of India against the directives of Hindu religion, the religion by which they are identified. IBID, pages 10 to 11. The India government, the same as in other countries, likes to control the affairs of religion and regulate how people live and believe, usually resulting in suppression and catastrophe. Atal was making an appeal that the time has come for us to review the administrative system of India so that the control of the parliament should be withdrawn from all institutions pertaining to all religions. IBID, page 12, he was asking them to find some solution for excess young women. He wanted the law to be repealed so their culture could return to the natural flow and interest of the society. He continued, therefore, time has come for us to review the imposition of monogamy by Hindu Marriage Act 1955 on Hindu community of India, because this is necessary for stopping the socio-economic deterioration as well as for the advancement of Hindu community of India. After the implementation of monogamy for Hindus, criminal offenses among women have increased, suicides, mainly among males, the normal breadwinners for Hindu families, illegitimate children have increased in number, unhappy families and others through prostitutes, spread venereal diseases in Bombay, so much that Bombay is now one of the 10 cities in the world where the incidence of VD is highest. Venereal diseases in Calcutta also have grown tremendously high. Mental illness of people due to family feuds, sexual maladjustment and marital disharmony have increased, murders of housewives have increased, some husbands have been killed by or at the conspiracy of their wives. Ibid, pages 14 to 15. Picture the wives of Krishna pleading for mercy on the dragon. This sounds very similar to a description of the American Christian system of monogamy. In judging a general practice by their fruits, monogamy has certainly failed miserably. Generally speaking, it does not work for the Christians nor the heathens. Atal hit the mark again when he declared, if monogamy is to be imposed at all, it must be imposed only on contractual marriages, which are nothing but legal contracts between the bridegroom and the bride, spelling out rights and obligations on everything, e.g., conjugal right, shared marriage presentations, shared housework, planned number of reproduction of children, custody of children, ownership of properties achieved by joint effort, the terms and conditions of divorce, if any, etc., but it should not have been imposed on marriages by customary rites according to Hindu religion. Ibid, page 16. Exactly. If a couple wishes to have the state enter into their marriage with whatever desired stipulations they want in a legalized contractual agreement, then it is the privilege of the state to do so. If, on the other hand, the couple desires to enter into a religious ceremony, complying with the rules, regulations and commandments of their sacred books and scriptures, then the state should have no right to interfere. Such is a good example of separation between church and state. This report raises an interesting question. If the government imposes a law against a correct religious principle, how can it be legal? The Hindus consider the monogamous government-inspired laws as a marriage arranged, negotiated and settled by persons other than the bridegroom and the bride. Page 17, and as such, the bridegroom and bride are married by misrepresentation, which may be a source of conflict after marriage. Atal Kundu writes, it is clear that the imposition of the rule of monogamy on the Hindu community of India in 1955 was done without any systems analysis, i.e., without studying the problems of the people of India in totality. He then makes a comparison of India with America. Similarly, a single basic fault in the legal system of the Hindu community of India is sufficient to collapse the Hindu community of India slowly and gradually, if that basic fault is not discontinued. Indian philosophy and culture are splendid and much more advanced than those of the West. But we, the Indians, have grown an inferiority complex in us, looking at the advancement of the West in technology, and blindly copied the rule of monogamy in 1955 for Hindus of India, forgetting our rich culture and philosophy. Ibid, page 21. Thus, monogamy has become a serious detriment to the Hindu culture, which has been that marriage should be a family matter, rather than a government contract between a bridegroom and a bride. Furthermore, it is religious law that the man should rule over the woman, not have equal authority in their marriage. Once again, according to Atal, 2 prime ministers in India or 2 presidents in USA having equal authority would have been detrimental to the administration of the states, and in the same way the husband and the wife having equal authority in a family are likely to be harmful to the smooth running and progress of the family. In USA, a country of monogamy, at least 1/3 of the total marriages are ending in divorce in a year, and it is likely to increase in the future. In Britain, another land of monogamy, divorce rate is now among the highest in the world. There is 1 divorce approximately for every 2 marriages. Ibid, page 22. Christian Americans can and should learn a great deal from these heathen infidels. The recent results of enforcing monogamy in India should show that it is destroying them and is doing the same thing here in America. If we fail to check that system, it will do as Atal said, collapse the community slowly and gradually if that basic fault is not discontinued. Ibid, page 21. To summarize the philosophy of Atal Kundu and the Hindu people, consider the following points. 1. There is a nationwide problem because of the surplus of women. 2. Polygamy would allow more women to marry and would help them with their financial difficulties, providing needed food, clothing and lodging. 3. It would help solve the problems of so much prostitution and illegitimacy. 4. The government would have to regulate and enforce one less law and would not be able to interfere with the practice of religion. 5. It would avoid state contracts which include many provisions that neither the bride nor groom want. 6. Polygamy would help stop the social and economic deterioration that has been growing in the society. 7. It would diminish criminal activities between husband and wife and allow the husband to be the head of the family. 8. It would decrease suicides, murder, venereal diseases, mental illness, and sexual maladjustments. The similarities in the conditions of both India and America are evident. Removing the government from the control of marriages, unless invited by the parties concerned, and placing such unions back in the realm of religion, would enable polygamy or monogamy to be the respective choices of the individuals involved, and would undoubtedly improve the standards and conditions of community life. The standard of morality in America is among the worst of all the nations of the earth, yet America is supposed to be a Christian nation. What has happened to the principles they say are the most wholesome of any other religion or nation? There must be something amiss if greater problems are being created here than those in the heathen nations.